In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 activities that I really like for working with children who've experienced loss or bereavement. Each of these activities has been inspired by a resource that I really rate, but of course you could do them without buying the resource, but I'll put all the links in the description below should you wish to go and find the resources that I'm recommending. So the first activity that I really like is the Sad Monster activity, which comes from the Monster Handbook from Relax Kids. Now, Relax Kids do a whole range of different resources, which I really rate. The idea with the Sad Monster is that children will draw their sad monster and create it. You could obviously do it in all sorts of different ways. If you wanted to, you could create a collage or do it however you like really, but you create a physical manifestation of your sad monster. And what they talk about in the book, so the sad monster is very heavy and he feels like he's made of bricks. It snuffles and sniffs as if it has a cold. He sits inside you and makes you feel so heavy and sad. It likes the dark, and sometimes you feel as if all the lights have been switched off and you're sitting alone in the dark with your heavy sad monster. Sometimes you don't even know why you feel sad, and they've got their sad monster. But yeah, so children are encouraged to create their own. So they draw or create their own sad monster. And then there's some really lovely questions that we can use to explore the sad monster. So when does the sad monster appear, and what colour is it, and what shape is it? What does the sad monster feel like? And where does your sad monster sit in your body? And that's a really nice way of exploring with children what sadness actually feels like. There's a whole load of other kind of activities around managing your sad monster and that kind of thing as you go on through the book. But as a basic exercise, the creation of the sad monster and using the sad monster as a way of exploring these really challenging feelings, I think could be really helpful. Quite often with kids, when we kind of externalize this and we make this discussion about something or someone else and do it in the third person, then it becomes much more easy for them to talk about this. And also it can make those feelings be a bit less scary, because you can create the sad monster, and monsters don't have to be scary. They can be like our worry monster here, who is actually very soft and friendly and cuddly, and we get to know him, and as we get to know him, he's less scary. So the sad monster idea I really like, and I think that's a great activity. The Monster Handbook, generally loads of really great activities in here that kids really engage with, so I'd recommend that. The next activity I'm going to recommend comes from this set of cards, which is the Karuna Cards. Now, Karuna is a Sanskrit word for compassion, and this is a set of cards, and each card has got a different activity on it that is specifically related to grief and loss. The particular activity that I'm going to recommend today is this one. This is about, the idea here is about writing a letter expressing something that you didn't get the chance to say. And this can be really helpful, because sometimes when someone dies, particularly if it's sudden or unexpected, then we haven't said the things that we needed to say, and that can be really challenging. And so the idea here is that we communicate with someone after they've died by writing a letter and getting out those things that we want to say. And of course, a young person might keep this to themselves, or they might choose to share it with a trusted adult and use this to explore some of those perhaps unresolved feelings. The activity here also does suggest that actually you could write a response back to yourself, and maybe think about what would that person say to you if they could hear what you had to say. This is an activity that kind of really speaks to me personally, because I remember when my grandfather was dying and I'd spent many weeks at his bedside in the hospital, and when we were in those final hours, I was incredibly sad. And I remember going to my car, picking up the phone and calling my friend and crying down the phone to him and telling him all these different thoughts and feelings that were in my head. And my friend said to me, "But why are you in the car telling me this? Go now, tell these things to your grandfather, you're not going to get another chance." And so I did. And I was so grateful for the opportunity to do that. And if I hadn't been able to do that when he was alive, then perhaps doing something like this and expressing it in writing after the fact would be really helpful and cathartic and help to work through some of those feelings. The final activity that I think is really helpful is exploring with children the whole range of different emotions and feelings that they might have going on inside them when someone dies. It's really important for kids to understand that there's no right and wrong way to feel when someone dies. And so I like doing this by using things like your chatties cards, which is all the different emojis. So you might talk about feeling upset or shocked. But actually, sometimes we find that we're laughing. We might have happy memories of the person who's died. There's all sorts of different feelings that can go with grief. And sometimes children will judge themselves for those feelings, and they think, I'm not allowed to feel angry, or I'm not allowed to feel happy, and that can be really tricky. So using different kind of cards, like your Chatties cards, or like another resource from Relax Kids actually, the mood cards, can be really helpful. And these can be helpful in helping us to kind of try and flip and change our mood. So they might help us to recognise how we feel now, but also they might be helpful if we're trying to perhaps move on and embrace some more positive feelings. So these two different card sets kind of bring different things to the equation. The Chatties cards, or our emojis, essentially look at all the different ways that we might feel, and the mood cards from Relax Kids will help us think about how we can perhaps try and flip and turn and embrace a slightly more positive mood, or try and channel some of the energy that we're feeling into an emotion, a feeling which feels more manageable, that enables us perhaps to better engage with day-to-day activities. But I find both of these to be really useful starting points for conversation with kids. And the key thing here really is that you're opening up that discussion. You're understanding there's no right and no wrong way to feel, and let's explore this, let's talk about it. They're just really good starting points for conversation. And of course you could make your own, or you could use another resource, but I do really, again, really rate both of these. They're nice, they're tactile, kids like them. With the Chatties cards you can get big ones as well. I love the keyring because you can kind of carry it around everywhere with you, but you can also buy big cards that you can write on with dry wipe markers. So I hope that those 3 activities give you some ideas of things you can start with. The really important thing to remember here, that when it comes to grief and bereavement and loss, is there's no right and wrong way to feel, and what a child needs most is to feel heard, to have space to explore things in a way that's appropriate to them, and to receive reassurance that it's okay for them to experience this wide range of different thoughts and feelings, and to give them a safe space to begin to explore those, and perhaps just make those first steps towards starting to move on. I'd love to hear what activities you find helpful for supporting children who've experienced a bereavement. Leave those in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I release new videos every Tuesday and Friday, and I'm still desperately trying to get to the elusive 10k subscribers so I can join the YouTube Creator Programme. Thanks for watching. Bye.